Hello, everybody, and welcome back to TarHeelIllustrated.com. Or, of course, if you're watching on our growing YouTube channel, that is Tar Heel Illustrated. I'm THI staff writer Jacob Turner, and joining me from the Smith Center in Chapel Hill, our very own publisher, Andrew Jones. And AJ, Carolina picking up the win over Brown tonight, 94-87, maybe a little bit closer than a lot of us expected, and I'm sure a lot of Carolina fans expected going into it, but nonetheless, Carolina finding a way to win after big performances from RJ Davis in particular, who scored 14 of Carolina's final 19 points, hit four threes in that stretch as well. So had a really, really big game from the sophomore guard. We'll hit on that and Armando Bacot as well and a little bit later on. But let's start on the defensive end because I think that's where we need to start. Just wasn't a very good defensive performance from Carolina, to say the least. Brown shot 60% from the floor in the first half, 50.7 for the game, and outscored Carolina in the paint 44-36 on the night. So, it just seemed like there were stretches during that game, big stretches, not just small ones, where Brown kind of scored, did whatever they wanted to on the offensive side of the ball, got to the glass, got to the rim very easily. And, just not a great defensive display from the Tar Heels tonight all around.
Yeah, the dribble drive defense was not good. There was no help. Brown was getting what it wanted. In fact, Brandon P. and I were sitting next to each other on press row. Brandon's one of our interns on staff, and we were just kind of saying, man, it looks like they're running dummy offense at times. Carolina was really poor defensively. And Hubert was asked after the game, was it just Brown being hot? And he's like, no, they're not hot. They're hitting layups. They were getting layups. Brown scored 44 points in the paint tonight. Think about that.
Yeah, no, it's wild.
They had 50 points at halftime, and their second three of the game came as the half expired. It wasn't like they were just raining threes and they were just on fire and there wasn't much to do about it. Carolina's defense was terrible in the first half in every facet, and that's how a club like Brown scores 50 points in the first half against you. So the Tar Heels, I thought when they come out, they'd have a lot more energy in the second half and they would start getting stops, and Brown just went right at them again.
Yeah, they really did.
And they kept getting buckets. In fact, Brown took the lead at 35-34 and then led for the next 16 game minutes. Now, to Carolina's credit, they were fused by the moment, which we'll talk about later on, but they were fused by the moment. They did step up, and Brown was 5 minutes last 18. So when they were pushed against the wall and they really had to step up, they showed that they could get stops. They started contesting some more shots. And I think a lot of that actually started with Dawson Garcia. Had a nice little stretch there to kind of get Carolina going. And one of the things he forced to miss. But they've got to address the defensive issue. I know it's just one game. It was just maybe 28 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever it was. But it's kind of alarming when a club like Brown is able to basically go down the offense against you. He was very explicit about it in the post game. It's something they're going to have to work on. But let's also remember this is November 12th.
Yeah.
So I actually think this is good for them. Again, we'll hit on here in a few minutes, but the guards defending the dribble, the switches, if a lot of people wanted change in a lot of stuff, which I totally don't understand because kind of Roy has a proven way of doing things. The last couple of years are kind of crazy. Weren't typical for Roy, but there's a proven approach there, right? He's a legend for a reason. He hates switching on screens. And we saw tonight what trouble you could get in when you're constantly switching on screens. Guards driving on bigs, big guys shooting over guards, that kind of stuff. We saw that a lot. And it'll be interesting to see how they address that moving forward. Because I'm okay with switching, but you can't switch everything.
Yeah.
You can't switch everything. So
it'll be interesting. Yeah, I think we'll talk about it a little bit later, but I think, Carolina can definitely take some things into practice. Hubert Davis mentioned it as well. So they got a lot of stuff they need to work on the defensive side of the floor going into next week and next Tuesday. Is the music? Did the music stop behind you?
Yeah, they're cleaning up in here. Guys are doing the full ramming stuff. So
yeah, it's
now they got music playing. So we'll cruise through this real quickly here.
I might get you to hold that mic.
I've had 90 minutes of sleep after getting stuck in New York trying to get back to Pittsburgh today.
Yeah, that about sums up the last 24 hours. Exactly. I might get you to hold that mic a little closer to your mouth if you can as well, because that music is
I'll just hold it.
Weird. Yeah, that'll make it
like a news reporter. I'm channeling my inner Bridget Condon.
I'm about to say, shout out Bridget Condon doing it big, and I think the Los Angeles fans.
She's out in LA with the NFL Network now. She's
awesome,
too big for us.
credit to Bridget. But yeah, that sounds a lot better, AJ.
All right,
let's
I'll just hold it like this.
Yeah, that's perfect. Let's hit on the second thing.
By the way, we're adapting as we go along.
Exactly.
This is an in-game adjustment right here.
We've had many instances where before videos, when we're both there in person, we've had to battle the music, battle the people. But yeah, I don't know if we've ever had one live on camera like this.
We would go to the practice gym.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've had some moments, guys. Trust us. So this is the first time live that we're battling with it, but all good. We can definitely hear you a lot better now, AJ. Second thing I kind of want to touch on, RJ and Armando obviously had big games. I mentioned RJ earlier. 26 points, 6 for 9 from three-point land, 6 assists as well. Armando Bacot with another big game, 22 points, 10 of 11 from the floor. Just really efficient tonight and had 10 rebounds as well. So a double-double from Armando Bacot. Those were kind of the main guys that really led Carolina on the offensive side of the ball, really were consistent. I know Manic pitched in 14 and 8. Caleb Love had 13 points as well, but it really started with RJ's heroics down the stretch. Like I said, hitting four threes, scored 14 of Carolina's final 19 points as well. And Armando Bacot was just, Mr. Efficiency tonight. So 2 really big games from RJ and Armando on the offensive side of the ball, at least.
Yeah. One of the things I really loved about watching Armando tonight was he's just gotten so good at getting in position, sealing his defender, making himself available, and the guys are finding him when he does. He struggled with that a lot a couple of years ago. His freshman year, it's why he shot 46% from the floor, because he didn't create really, easier scoring opportunities for himself. He showed tremendous improvement in that last year. And what I saw tonight was a guy who's better at it now. I mean, he really makes himself available. I guess it helps when they are spread out a little bit more because the help side defense isn't right there. But he's so decisive when he gets the ball now, and he's quicker. He economizes his movement. He's really good at getting guys on his hip. And if they're playing teams in which they don't have guys that can really check him, chuck it in there every time down the court, because Armando at the half was 6 of 6. And honestly, there were times where he didn't get the ball and they took some questionable shots where maybe he could have been 8 for 8 or 9 for 9. I think that's a horse you can ride almost every night, because he's gotten to the point where his quickness, his skill, his smarts, his feeling the defender, all that stuff has all reached kind of a same point in his growth as a player, and it makes him very, very, very effective down there. As for RJ, he had a good first half, and he was on the ball a lot. He was running the point a lot.
Yeah,
tonight.
He was.
But that second half explosion, we saw that last year against Virginia Tech in the ACC tournament, where he just kind of said, okay, guys, I'm going to take you for a ride for a while. And that was the difference in that game. He did it again tonight, and it came after that little spurt that Dawson Garcia got them going, and RJ just picked it up. He hit 4 threes in that stretch, a couple free throws, and was just sensational. 14 points over the last 7 minutes of the game. And you could point to 3 or 4 reasons why they ultimately won this game. I think you probably have to start with RJ Davis in that stretch. And the other thing was just how Armando kept their offensive efficiency very high, especially in that first half. He was really, really good. And by the way, the assists, Caleb and RJ, 11 assists, 2 turnovers. They only have 4 combined turnovers through 2 games. So among the things that Hubert Davis has talked about a lot that they addressed that didn't go well last year, that was a major point of emphasis, one of them was keeping down the turnovers. 2 games in, the Tar Heels have done that, and that's primarily because RJ and Caleb look like they are making a lot better decisions, and they have much better feel for the game.
Oh, most definitely. Yeah, RJ and Caleb combining for, 39 points tonight, and like you said, 11 assists total. So really good performance from those guys. Obviously, RJ was the one with the biggest chunk of points and was the main reason Carolina was able to pull away. But solid game from Caleb Love, and seems to you can already see kind of the improvements that he's made this year and whatnot as well. Yeah. And I still think there's another step he can take, to be completely honest with you. So, but last thing I want to hit on, AJ, I mean, just what does this mean? We kind of hit on this on a lot of our 3 things, but I thought overall it was a tough game for Carolina. I tweeted it early on that it was, I know it's early in Hubert Davis's tenure, so it's pretty easy to say this, but it's really the first time that we've seen this team have to deal with some adversity under Hubert Davis. They've had exhibition win that was comfortable. Our first win of the season against Loyola was relatively comfortable as well. So good test for the Tar Heels. I thought Brown looked really good on offense for a big majority of that game. Obviously, a lot of that had to do with Carolina's, just poor play on the defensive side of the ball, because I think they could definitely take that up a couple notches. But overall, tough test a good test though. And I think this is a lesson that will definitely help them going into next week, into some, going into the ACC season, even before then, with some really tough non-conference games coming up here shortly.
I would think a lot of fans would agree with this, but a lot of us who cover the team wanted to see some early adversity, to see how Hubert would handle it, see how the team would handle it. I think stuff like this kind of gets you into the groove of the season quicker. A 30-point win, fans would have had a lot of fun, dunks and all that kind of stuff. But I actually think, RG getting 26 in a game like this matters more than if it was a 30-point game. The fact that they had to dial down, or dig down rather, and come up with some stops and get some buckets, and they had to play highly focused basketball, and they were being pushed. I mean, Brown played really well. Forget the fact they're an Ivy League team. Forget the fact they didn't even have a season last year because the Ivy League didn't play basketball.
Yes,
Brown pushed them. So I thought the Tar Heels got a lot out of it. Generally speaking, you don't want to have games where it's 93-87 against the Browns and Elons and App States of the world every time you play one of these clubs. But if you get one and you use it to your advantage, you get a lot out of it, and you learn a lot. Those are all the things that Hubert said. That's what Armando said afterward. Then this kind of a game can actually be very, very good for you. This is a long season. It's November 12th. It's okay to get a scare right now. Scares are going on all over the place. Louisville lost at home to Furman tonight.
Yep.
This stuff is going on. College basketball is crazy in November. It's crazy in every month. So A, they got to win. B, they had to step up and improve defensively late in order to get the win. And C, they had to have one of their guards step up. The guards are so important. You got to have really good guard play to become a national title contender. That's what this team aspires to become. So we saw Caleb, who was fantastic in the first game, and we saw RJ, who was fantastic tonight. They have 4 different 20-point scores in the first 2 games. They weren't great on the glass, but they did get offensive rebounds. I think they had 17 or 19 second chance points tonight. So they grabbed a higher percentage of their missed shots than they did in the first game. So, this is a small chapter in a giant story that will unfold over the next 4+ months. And we may look back and say, you know what? This was a good shake the tree game. If you come out on a Friday night at 9 o'clock with Brown in the middle of November, and people are thinking that's going to be a cakewalk, and maybe the players were thinking that. It's human nature to do that. And I think this just was good for them. They can build off of this. Now, if they play defensively like this next weekend, the Mohegan Sun, Purdue's going to destroy them. And either Tennessee or Villanova will as well. So that's good in a way. They got exposed in some areas where they said, okay, here's some stuff we need to work on. Let's get at it. And Hubert said they don't practice Saturday. They'll practice on Sunday, and they're going to get at those things. So this is a positive. Unless it keeps happening, this is a good thing for them. They can get a lot out of this, and I think it's okay. Fans are going to panic. Message boards are probably irate about
blowing
the
up right now.
Defense. Yeah, but I wouldn't worry about it. You learn from it, get better, move on.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I couldn't have said it any better, AJ. Carolina finding a way to win 94-87. Tough opponent. Brown thought they played really well tonight, and hit some big shots. Just wouldn't go away. And credit to Brown for doing that. I know Carolina could have played better, but you got to give credit to Brown as well. I thought they had a really good performance tonight overall. Definitely.
And Brown got a ton out of this. And by the way, the crowd the crowd was fantastic. They really lifted the team. The players noticed it. I thought it was pretty cool to watch the guys who didn't have a crowd last year and haven't played here before in front of a crowd. I thought that Caleb and RJ in particular kind of fed off of it. And that's good. That's growth. Feeding off the crowd is something teams with moxie do. And teams with moxie are ones that become contenders. You never see a national title contender that doesn't have moxie. And the reason I'm saying that, and let me clarify, the reason I'm saying national title contender is because that's what they say. That's what they say that they want to be. They want to be a Final Four team. And if you're a Final Four team, you're a national title contender. So a lot of little positives. There's clearly red flags, but are they really red flags, or was just one of those nights? We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. We'll know soon enough, like you said, coming up next week with some really, really tough opponents coming up for the Tar Heels. But yeah, finding a way to win, 7-point win over Brown. That's going to do it for us. I've been Jacob Turner. He's been Andrew Jones. I'm going to let Andrew run and finish up his work. He's running on about, an hour and a half of sleep, man? I know you had a long
90
24
minutes
hours.
of sleep. I flew in, flew out. I went from the stadium in Pittsburgh to the airport. So
a couple delayed flights in there
since I woke up Thursday morning. So
yeah, exactly. Well, AJ, we'll let you.
But I got my steps in, Jacob. I did so much walking in the airports today. I got all my steps in.
Hey, that's awesome, man. That's what we like to hear.
Man.
Exactly, man. The streak continues. Credit to AJ for killing that streak so far. So we'll let you run, man. We'll let you get to it. I know you'd got some more important things to do than talk to me for another 30 minutes or so. So that's going to do it for us. We've been TarHeelIllustrated.com for all your post-game coverage from tonight's win. Make sure you check out TarHeelIllustrated.com, link in the description below, and go ahead and give this video a thumbs up if you're excited about the win and glad Carolina was able to come out on top over Brown. As always, guys, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell as well so you know every single time we upload, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks.